Okay. Oh, hey, Thomas. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm sorry I'm an hour late, guys. I fell asleep. Yeah, and that just fucked up my schedule. I was trying to get all this done. I mean, it's still not really an excuse, but I did if I hadn't slept, I would have gotten this stuff done in time. But whatever. But anyway, um, I'm here now, so. Okay, so welcome to my rant stream of the Sing and the Secret Life of Pets movies. So as you all know, or for some of you, or for those of you who don't know, these movies were created by a company called Illumination. I believe that's, yes, Illumination, formerly known as Illumination Entertainment. So they're just called Illumination now. So yeah, it's from a company called Illumination. All of these are from a company called Illumination. And I'm sure you all already know how I'm going to feel about these movies, but okay. Let me just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so let me talk about the film chronology. So the first two movies in these, the first movie in each series, The Secret Life of Pets and Sing, they both came out in 2016. I believe one came out a few months before the other. Yeah, so The Secret Life of Pets came out, it was released on July 8th, 2016, whereas Sing was released on December 21st, 2016. So those two came out in this, within the same year. And then their sequels came out a few years later. The Secret Life of Pets 2 came out in 2019, and Sing 2 came out last year, 2021. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to be pretty harsh with these movies. I'm sorry, I just think they're crap. They're crap. They're just crap. Is anyone surprised I was going to say that? They're crap. They're crap. Okay, so it's Illumination, honestly. For those of you who know how Illumination works, of course these movies are just not going to be very good, because from what I've seen, Illumination is not a company that puts a lot of effort into their products. They're just not. Okay, so I haven't seen all of their movies. I know they have 10. I believe the other ones are, let's see. I'm not talking about the Despicable Me series, because I already ranted about those, and those are a mixed bag for me. But if you exclude Despicable Me and the Sing series and the Secret Life of Pets series, then you just have Hop, the Lorax, the Grinch, and I think that's it. There was one more, I think. Are those all of them? I thought there was another one. Yeah. So I haven't seen all of the other movies, because I know Illumination has a few more, but I've seen most of their films. And yeah, from what I've seen, these films, the Secret Life of Pets and the Sing movies, they just suck. It's clear that there was barely any effort put into them. More so for the sequels than for the originals. The originals seem to have some effort put into them, not enough, but some. Whereas the sequels are just even worse. So these films have a problem in that they're just not very creative. They're very generic. And I'm not going to say that just because something is generic means that it's automatically bad. No. My problem is that the movie doesn't try to be different from others. Like, I'm fine with movies borrowing elements from other movies. Like, stories have been borrowing ideas from other stories since the dawn of time. Like there's really no such thing as a purely original story, because every story has familiar elements. But the problem is that Illumination doesn't try to like come up with its own unique formula. They just do whatever will just make them the most money, and then boom, that's it. They don't try any harder than that. And this is a problem with so far that I've dealt this with, like, generally with pretty much all the series I've watched from them. Despicable Me, the Sing, The Secret Life of Pets. The first movies are not terrible, but everything after that is just no. One big no. Just no. Well, to varying degrees. I thought Despicable Me 3 was okay. The second one I don't like. Minions: The Rise of Gru was actually not bad, but the Minions movie was just ill. But yeah, like, these films, they just, you can tell that Illumination just doesn't try harder. I mean, the animation's good. The movies have good animation, but they just lack heart. They lack heart. And it's raining outside again. God damn it, it's been raining all week in my area. Which is not good because, like, my mom really wants me to cut the grass, but I've only cut the front. And I still need to cut the back. And thanks to this rain, the grass is just growing fast. The grass in the front is, like, growing again. I'm just like, oh my god, I don't want to go back out there and do it. But whatever. Anyway, but yeah, like, these movies just, you can tell that they just don't have a lot of effort put into them, especially the sequels. And I love how, like, if you actually watch the the some of the behind the scenes videos, the creators are all like, "Oh, Illumination's a wonderful company. I feel like I'm at my best here. I can just be free with all my ideas. Like this company fosters creativity." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't. No, the fuck it doesn't. Shut it. It does not." This company is creatively bankrupt. They're uncreative. They're not creative. No. Just no. No, they're not. Just no. Just no. And yeah, like, as Maple said earlier in the chat, oh, by the way, hi Maple, hi everyone else. Like, the Illumination's gonna work on the upcoming Mario film, and I'm just like, okay, you can tell that it's just not gonna be good if Illumination's working on it. If it were a company like DreamWorks or Sony Pictures or even Disney or Pixar, then, you know, you wouldn't be worried that much. But if it's something like Illumination, yeah. Yeah, today, Thomas, I was actually prepping for today's Rantstream. I spent the day watching, I spent the day watching the mini-movies of all 4 movies. And the mini-movies are just shit. Like, there are a few of them that are good, but there are a few of them that are just outright bad, and some are okay. So some are good, some are okay, and some are trash. Like, the one of the shorts for the first Sing movie, Gunter Babysits, that one was trash. But I liked the one where Ginger becomes a superhero and saves Max from a villain who's a flea. That one I liked. I forgot what it was called. Secret Ginger, whatever. I don't remember. Super Ginger, whatever. I liked that one. So, there are a few that I liked, but there are a few that were just bad, and there were a few that I was just pretty neutral about. I don't even know why they make these mini movies though, because they're just not very good generally. Like, overall, they're basic. Like, even more basic than the Shrek short films, and those aren't even all that good to begin with. I just like, how does that happen? Yeah, Sony does better than Illumination. I mean, they have Into the Spider-Verse, as somebody else pointed out. Yeah, that's the thing. Illumination, they're very good when it comes to marketing their movies. Like, they know how to make money from these movies. Oops, sorry. They know how to make money from these movies. Like, I mean, look at the Minions movie. It made over $1 billion at the box office. I'm talking about the first Minions movie, by the way, not Rise of Gru. And I'm just like, how? How the hell did that movie, which is arguably probably the worst one in terms of plot, because it barely has a plot, how did that get $1 billion at the box office? Because people love the Minions, and that's the thing about the Minions. They're fucking everywhere, as Maple once said. Because they are. Like, even in these other movies, like Sing 2, The Secret Life of Pets, Secret Life of Pets 2, even the Minions make a few minor appearances there. And a few of the shorts are actually Minion shorts. And I'm just like, guys, you're letting this bleed into other movies. Like, the Minions don't have to be everywhere. Like, stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. I fell asleep watching like some of the short films for these movies. Yeah. I was like, I'm tired, but I'm not sure if it's entirely because I'm sleep deprived, because some of these short films are just boring as hell. So, yeah, like, these movies are just, the movies and short films are generally just not very good. I'm sorry, but they're not. Okay, well, I guess I should start with the first movie, which I think, the first Sing movie, which I think out of all the 4 films here, I think this is actually the best one, but that's not saying much. It's just not saying much. Okay, so, let me just, I'm not going to bother writing a synopsis, because I don't care about these movies all that much to write one. But basically, it's about this, the first movie is about this guy, this koala named Buster Moon, whose dad, like, saved up a bunch of money so his son could open up a theater, but, you know, years into the future, Buster Moon's theater is struggling, both financially and structurally, because that the building is actually falling apart as well. And, you know, he owes a bunch of money to people because, again, he's struggling financially. And so he comes up with a scheme that will hopefully help his theater get back in business, because his theater's just tanking. And he makes a bunch of flyers for the singing competition. He makes an ad about it, and the price is $1,000. But, you know, his assistant, Miss Crawley, or whatever her name is, the green chameleon with the lazy eye, she accidentally types in $100,000 instead, and then she didn't notice it, though, because her eyesight's fucked up. So she makes a bunch of flyers. She prints out a bunch of flyers, and then accidentally, like, the fan in her office blows all the flyers out into the world, and Buster is like, oh, okay, I guess that's one way to distribute the flyers. So now everybody in town knows about the singing competition, thinking that the prize is actually a lot bigger than it actually is. And so everyone lines up for the competition. Buster seems to like most of the acts, but just eliminates most of them, and then a few are left. You know, Johnny the Gorilla, Mina actually doesn't get it. Mina doesn't, like, she doesn't make the cut at first. So it's just Johnny the Gorilla, and then there's this pig mom named Rosa, I think. She makes a cut as well. Gunter, another pig who's kind of annoying, and what else? I'm trying to remember. Some of these characters are so forgettable that I'm struggling to remember all their names. Oh, there's also the mouse character, who's voiced by Seth MacFarlane, by the way. So, I mean, that's something, I guess. And what else? I think the mouse's name was Eddie. I can't remember. Anyone else? I feel like I'm missing. I feel like I'm missing someone. Oh yeah, the porcupine girl, Ash. See, I'm told you these characters are so damn forgettable. Oh my god. But yeah, she makes the cut as well. Not her boyfriend doesn't. He's a porcupine as well. I forgot what his name was. I think Lance? Or, I don't remember. But yeah, so you have your. I think those are all. I think that's everyone. I think there was another character, but I honestly can't remember. So, but yeah, you have your. So now Buster Moon has his crew of musicians or whatever, singers, dancers, whatever, and you know, throughout the movie they just work together on this production. At first they're struggling because Buster doesn't really understand what works best for any of the people that he's working with. Like, for example, he insists that Ash wear a really girly outfit that bubblegum pop idols wear, some shit like that, when her style is more punk rock and stuff like that. So, oh yeah, and Mina eventually gets a role in the Elephant Girl. She gets a role in the musical, the competition as well. I want to say competition, but it's not really a competition because none of them compete. I think the movie doesn't have an understanding of what a competition actually is. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, she gets to join the Elephant Girl. But you know, Buster Moon doesn't actually have the money. He doesn't notice his mistake in the flyers until just after the auditions end. But he's like, you know what, let's go along with it. I'll figure out the rest later. Yeah, it's a typical lie reveal plot. And his lie gets exposed when the mouse. Okay, so the mouse character, he's too confident for his own good, basically. So he thinks he's going to win the competition, so he starts betting a lot of money that he doesn't actually have. Oh yeah, and he opens up a credit card, by the way, beforehand. So unfortunately, like he you know, he does a lot of gambling, but unfortunately he gets caught for cheating. And so the bears that he owes money to, they chase him they chase him throughout the city, and then the mouse is like, "Oh no, please don't kill me. I have the money. Just go to Buster Moon's theater. He has the money. You can get it from him." And then they do that, and Buster Moon is scared to open the chest, but you know, it gets opened anyway by one of the bears, and then it's revealed right then and there that Buster actually didn't have all the money, which upsets everyone. And unfortunately, the stage that Buster Moon had created, it fell apart. Because he thought it was a good idea to use regular glass from the windows as a sort of as material for the stage, when he should have used a different type of glass. And so the whole theater falls apart. Not even just the stage, the whole building falls apart, and then the building even gets flooded. Everyone makes it out safely, fortunately, but yeah, the theater is like toast. And yeah, but you know, and Buster Moon, you know, he has his depressive phase like every protagonist ever. But then after a bit of motivation, like a pep talk or whatever from his friend Eddie, who was actually financing him, by the way, up until this point. He decides to, like, Buster Moon, like, okay, so he runs this car wash where he himself is a sponge, and Eddie is like the dryer or whatever, like dry rag or whatever, because yeah, they're using their bodies to clean the cars for whatever reason. But then but then like Eddie, oh no, I'm sorry, Buster Moon. I'll call him Mr. Moon. Mr. Moon. He hears Mina singing, and then he's like, and then he gets the resolve to go and like still have the singing competition or whatever. So he gets everyone else. He gets everyone else who was in the production, and then they all rebuild the stage or whatever, and then they have the singing competition, which wows audiences, and then Eddie's grandma, who was once a famous singer, her name's Nana. Nana, Eddie calls her that anyway. No, that's not her name. I'm sorry, but I forgot what her actual name is. She buys the theater, and because like the theater was like the theater had been taken by a company, a different company, because Buster couldn't pay the bills. But yeah, she takes the theater, and then it gets rebuilt, and then now it's successful. So that's how the story ends, or some shit like that. I guess I did actually provide a synopsis. It wasn't a very good one. I did leave out a few key details, but I don't care to cover every single plot point in this movie. But anyway, yeah. Oh, you have to go? Okay, bye SBPR. So, okay, the positives. Alright, well, the animation is good. These movies do have good animation. So Illumination always gets that much right. I won't say that's the most impressive animation I've seen, but it's good. Like the movie does have good animation. Okay. Music? Well, yeah, plenty of good music. Plenty of good music. So you get to hear a mix of popular songs. I forgot which ones. I could remember. Oh yeah, I'm Still Standing. That one's in the movie. And among others. I mean, there are also some original songs as well. But yeah, good music all around. I mean, this is a singing movie. Of course, it has to have good music, but the ironic thing is that the second movie is. I'm going to criticize the music in that one, and you'll see why. But anyway, but yeah, this movie has good music. Okay, so back to the story. It's okay. It's just okay. There are some parts I like about it, some parts I don't like. So if I'm gonna be honest, I think like the only interesting character, there are like only 3 interesting characters in this film. Although I should probably say that for the negatives. Actually, let me just say this for the negatives. But I will say that the movie has a good moral. That even if like that, if you try just hard enough, it's entirely possible for you to achieve your dreams. Like even if there are setbacks, or even if people doubt you, you shouldn't let that stop you from trying to make your dreams come true. Because in the end, Buster Moon got his theater back, and then some. So that's a good moral. Those are really the only compliments I have for the movie. Everything else is just, it ranges from okay to just trash. So let's go on to the negatives. Okay. So if I'm going to be honest, every character except Mr. Moon, Johnny the Gorilla, and I think what was the I think oh no, I'm sorry, the rat's name isn't Eddie. Why did I say Eddie? Because there's already another character named Eddie. Oh, so her name is Nana. Sorry, I'm messing up with these names, but these characters are just very forgettable. So what's the rat's name? Because I literally forgot what the rat's name is. what was his name? Mike. That's what his name was. My bad. So Mike. Okay. So every character except Mr. Moon, Johnny, and Mike is very forgettable. Okay. Sorry, like my sorry, my fucking computer died. If you found Ash like the you found Ash your favorite you thought she was your favorite character, I guess that's fair. Like she's not bad. I just don't find her all that I just don't really find her all that uh significant. I just don't. To me, like I feel like everyone except Mr. Moon, Johnny, and Mike is just forgettable. Because to me, like those are the only three that actually had any sort of interesting plot lines. All the characters' plot lines had the potential to be interesting, but like only half of them are end up being interesting, at least in my opinion. Like Mina's plot line, so she's a shy girl who wants to sing, uh, but she just lacks confidence, and she eventually overcomes it. But her plot line barely, like it, there's barely any focus on it, and like it's just not well written in my opinion. And the problem is that there are too many plot lines in this movie. I think that's the movie's biggest problem. The movie's biggest problem is that it just has too many plot lines. Like the pig mom, like how she wanted to be a singer, but she feels she's weighed down by her home life, with her children and shit like that, because she has a lot of children. I don't know why. Like, what's with moms having that many children? Like, and then having the nerve to complain about their lives. Like, what did you expect? But whatever. She could have been interesting, but again, she's boring. And Ash, I mean, she had a promising start. Like, she and her boyfriend, they were making songs together, but then creative differences separated the two, and her boyfriend ended up finding someone else, which caused her to kick him out of the house. And like I thought, okay, that's interesting, but then after that, I just got bored with her character. I'm sorry, I was just like, nah, I'm out. Most of the side characters, including the supposed antagonists, were pretty forgettable. TBH. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. That's the problem with this film. And that, in my opinion, it just had too many characters. Too many characters. Not that you can't have films or stories or anything like that with a lot of characters, because there are some movies and TV shows or whatever, books or whatever, that pull this off. But this is just not one of them. There are just too many characters, and so we don't really get to focus. We don't really get to focus enough on the storylines. And honestly, the second movie is even worse in regard to this, but we'll get to that later. So why I find Mr. Moon, Johnny, and Mike the most interesting is that Mike. Let's talk about Mike the rat first, or mouse. Mouse. He's a mouse. Sorry. He's an asshole. He's an asshole. He's very he's overconfident, really. He's talented, sure, but he's overconfident, and he puts down other people who he thinks are inferior, and he has a tendency to get himself in trouble with criminals. And honestly, I was like, okay, that kind of character was actually interesting. Like, this is actually an interesting character. Like, I thought that was an interesting thing they did with him. And having him voiced by Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy, who, yes, can actually sing. Yeah, that was just icing on the cake. So I thought Mike was an interesting character. I think Mike also plays the saxophone. I can't remember. But yeah, he's very talented, but he's also... And apparently, and I believe that he gets killed off screen. Like, the bear criminals find him and then they kill him. Although I won't say how because it's just messed up. But yeah, he gets killed off screen. His mouse girlfriend does save him at the end of the movie because he's still being chased by a bunch of criminals, but after the movie he gets killed off screen. But you don't get to see it anywhere. Like, it's just I think it's something that the creator stated or whatever. But anyway. But yeah, and I found Johnny's plotline interesting because, he wants to sing, but, his father constantly wants him to get involved in criminal activities, like stealing and bank robbing or whatever. And Johnny often has to be the getaway driver or whatever. And he's like, Dad, I don't want to be a criminal, I want to sing. And at first this drives a wedge between him and his father because eventually Johnny lets his father and the other guys down. But then after the father hears his son sing, he's like, wow, you should pursue this. I'm proud of you, son. So I thought that was a nice storyline. And Mr. Moon's storyline is also pretty interesting. Like, your theater's failing, you're trying to save it. Not completely original, but still interesting nonetheless. Not every story has to be completely original. And having to lie just to, in a desperate move to save your theater, only to hit rock bottom. I thought that was an interesting storyline too. The other storylines I just don't really care much for. They just didn't have as much effort put into them. Although I do find Mina relatable, because in the past my personality was actually similar to hers. It still kind of is, but yeah. So, she's not a bad character. She just needed more focus. Same goes for Ash and the pig mom. They just didn't have a lot of focus. They needed more focus. So that's one complaint I have regarding the movie. Okay, 2 complaints really. Anything else regarding this movie? This is subjective. This is very subjective, but I don't like the art style at all. I don't like it. It's just very off-putting to me. I just don't like it. I really, really, really don't like it. I don't. Some characters are okay. The pig mom's fine. She looks fine. Ash looks fine. Mina looks fine, but then there are characters that just look a bit off, like Mr. Moon and Johnny. It's just no. Their designs just seem off to me. With Johnny, it's just his legs that bother me. I feel like they should have been a bit longer. And Mr. Moon just looks fucking ugly as a koala. I don't know. He just looks ugly as hell to me. I don't like how he looks. I don't like Eddie's design either. It's just something off-putting about it. And for some reason, despite being... I don't understand this. So, for some reason, this movie features animal characters, and it still manages to be boring. How do you... humans love animals. Animal characters are popular in stories for a reason. Because people find them... Many people find them more interesting than human characters. Because animal characters are just great storytelling devices. And yet, this movie somehow makes a story starring animals completely fucking boring. To the point where it's just like, you know, you could just like put humans here and it would there would be no difference. Like, I'm fine with them using animals here, but it's like, you guys made the story boring somehow. Like, how? How does that happen? How the fuck does that happen? I don't understand. Like, how on earth do you make a world filled with anthropomorphic animals boring? Easy. You work for Illumination and then you make a movie. Just like that. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not even the fucking competition wasn't even a competition. Like, nobody wins the cash prize money or whatever. Like, although I guess Mr. Moon eventually abandoned that idea. Like, after his theater got destroyed. But whatever. I just don't care at this point. This movie's story needed serious work. But yeah, this story's kind of boring. I'm sorry. Like, it had the potential to be a good story, but but like but like they should have just focused on a few select characters, like just a few characters trying to make it big and failing, like just only to succeed at the end. Because the problem with having this many characters is that, well, you can only have so much runtime before you run out of before you run out of time to develop the other characters. But anyway, anything else I don't like about these movies? I'm definitely gonna tear right into the second one because it manages to be even worse than the first in so many ways, and I'm just like, how do you guys mess this up? How do you mess this up? But anyway, are there any other negatives regarding Sing 1? Or just Sing? It's technically Sing, but I don't care. Anyway, I'm trying to remember. Oh, there's another thing that doesn't make sense to me about this film. So, okay, so Mr. Moon, after it was revealed that Mr. Moon lied to everyone, and that like, after that, and after his theater got destroyed, for whatever reason, everyone except the mouse character who was involved in the competition, they actually go and find Mr. Moon and try to cheer him up. And I'm just like, and they even try to help him, like, you know, with his business. And I'm just like, why? Why are you guys like trying to like go? Why are you trying to make him feel better? Like he lied to all of you, and even put your lives in danger with this shitty theater. And you guys just want to go and help him? Like, it didn't make any sense to me in the film. Like, why are you guys why are you guys willing to help him? Like, if anything, you'd be pissed at him, which you were, but for some reason you just come back and you like, oh, we want to help Mr. Moon. I'm like, why? Like, why? You have no reason to help him. He screwed you all over. He even said so himself. Like, even he's like, why are you guys here? Like there are no excuses for what I did. Although, to be fair to Mr. Moon, he didn't intend to lie at first. It was a mistake that he just went along with, but still, he lied in the end. But yeah, like, why are the other characters trying to help Mr. Moon after it's revealed that he lied? Like, I don't know. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Because they just wanted a reason for... I'm guessing they just wanted a reason to have everyone go back together in the end. But even that doesn't work because Mr. Moon just pushes everyone aside. But then he's like, you know what, actually... But after, like, you know, hearing Mina sing one day, he's just like, you know what? We can make this work. But whatever, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But let me type this in. Why were most of the other characters willing to help Mr. Moon after he lied to them and endangered Oh, hi, Gabe. So, yeah, that part just doesn't make any sense to me. It felt contrived. Um, Honestly, this could have been a decent film, but like there are just a few things that ruin it. Oops, I meant to say this is subjective, but I don't like the art style. Sorry. Like, I feel like this movie would have been better if it had just been about maybe like a guy group, like maybe like have like Johnny and then the mouse guy, and then well, Mr. Moon doesn't really sing or dance or whatever, but maybe have somebody else like do the fill up the third role, and then they try to form this group, but then the group, fails. Like, it like they fail at first, but then they eventually succeed. I feel like that would have been a better story than this, because again, there are just too many characters to develop in such a short amount of time. But yeah, Sing 1, it's not good, but it's not terrible. It's just serviceable at best. I think that's all. Let's see, right? Story. I talked about the story, the music, the animation, the themes. What else? I feel like I'm missing something. Story, music, animation. What's that one other thing? No, I think that's it, actually. Okay. But anyway, let's get on to Sing 2, which is just flat out terrible. It's the worst movie out of all these movies, unsurprisingly, I should say. It's Illumination. Sing 2 is just terrible. It's a bad film. I'll just bring up a short synopsis. And I have a lot of complaints with this film. So many that, like, I don't know where to start. Okay, so in the second movie, at the beginning, you see that Buster Moon's theater is it's thriving. Shows are his shows are sold out like every night, and everyone in the in his on his crew. Like, they're all doing really well on stage. So, yeah. And then one day there's this talent scout that comes in. Buster really wants to impress her, but, she watches the first half of the performance, but then she leaves, and Mr. Moon, whatever, chases after her, and then he asks her why she's leaving, and she tells him that the production just isn't very impressive, and he acts all devastated about it. He even tries to chase after her on the bike when she takes a taxi, and he chases after her on a bike, and then because he just really wants her, he just really wants to impress her or whatever, and that, and she mentions that there's an audition, but an audition for this famous producer or whatever, and she tells him that he's not really good enough. And then he accidentally drives off the road. Buster drives off the road and into the river or whatever, or canal or whatever, and then he returns to his office all wet and shit, and he acts like, oh, the talent scout didn't like me and it's the end of the world, and I'm just like, okay, there are many problems with that, but I should save that for the negatives. But yeah, he doesn't like that the talent scout didn't approve of his show, so he decides to go to the audition and takes literally everyone from the group with him. They go to the audition. Unfortunately, the appointment, because it's in a different city, so they have to get bus tickets, and they go to the city, which is basically Las Vegas, and it's called Red Shore City, but whatever. And they go to this audition. They unfortunately didn't have an appointment. Makes sense because it was a last minute thing. But so they sneak in, and then they somehow manage to. At first, the producer he's watching a bunch of acts and rejecting every single one. And he rejects theirs as well. But then they manage to convince him of an idea for a musical in space, and the guy's like, great, and Buster Moon once again lies about something regarding his production, but this time he lies that he knows a famous musician called Clay Calloway, and the fucking producer, he greenlights the project, and the crew has like a few weeks to get this done. And then the wolf's like, if you don't get this done, like I'm going to make your life hell or whatever. But yeah, so at first Buster and the others are struggling because they didn't really have a fully thought out plan, but then they managed to somehow the production actually manages to go well over the course of the movie, despite a few mishaps here and there. And at one point, Buster and Ash is like Clay Calloway's biggest fan. She manages to get Clay Calloway involved in the production as well, after he initially refuses because he became a shut-in after his wife died, and he didn't want to make music anymore because his wife was literally a big reason anyway, that he started making music in the first place. And yeah, but at one point, the producer's daughter, Portia, or whatever her name was, she was originally involved in the production, despite, against Mr. Moon's wishes, but then she can sing, but she can't act. So she couldn't act. So Buster decided to say, you know what, like, Portia, we need to find you another role. Like, this one just isn't fitting for you. But Portia overreacts and thinks that he fired her, and so she runs off and whines to her dad, and this angers her dad so so much that he decides to go and literally try to throw Mr. Moon off a building, off his like he has an office in a skyscraper. He goes to his balcony and tries to throw Mr. Moon off it. He doesn't, as Mr. Moon clings to his arm for dear life. And the producer actually had to, like, Mr. Crystal is his name. He's a wolf, a white wolf. Like, he was about to kill Mr. Moon, but then his assistant, Jerry, I think that's what his name was, some cat, like, tells him that, that he's due for an appearance on TV, and the producer's like, I'll deal with you later, and then locks Mr. Moon up in a room. But then the talent scout comes by later and rescues Mr. Moon, and then Mr. Moon's like, okay, I gotta get out of here, this guy is trying to kill me. And then the other crew, he tells the other crew, and then they all run away. They try to run away at first, but then after Clay Calloway's pep talk about how you shouldn't try to run away from these things, I know from experience or whatever, Mr. Moon is like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I can't let that bully push me around. So they decide to have the production anyway, but they stage it somewhere else. And then, through the help of a lot of other animals, and in such a ridiculously short amount of time, they manage to actually pull off this production. But sometime during the production, the wolf guy shows up and then tries to kill Mr. Moon again, but he gets saved by one of the singers, the pig mom, while she's on stage, and And yeah, like production successful, and of course there are some struggles along the way, but I'm not gonna. I'll talk about those in a moment. But yeah, like the wolf guy gets arrested for trying to kill Mr. Boone, thanks to the talent scout reporting him to the police, and the production successful, and then the talent scout tells everyone that you know their production that a company wants to have their production at a theater, so they go to that theater and then they perform there, and then you know it's a happy ending for everyone, shit like that. And there's more to this story as well. There are different plot points again. Like Johnny has to learn how to dance. You know, the gorilla guy, he has to learn how to dance, and from this very harsh dance coach. And there's also this subplot where Mina has to pretend that she's in love with somebody else on stage because that's her part. And but she knows she's never experienced love, so she doesn't know what to do. But she finds someone that she has a crush on conveniently. And of course, there's also the plotline with getting Clay Calloway to come to the production. That stars mainly Ash, because she's his biggest fan. And what else? I'm trying to remember. There are others. Oh yeah, the pig mom. Like she's afraid of heights, so she doesn't want to do the stunts during production where she has to be on a harness and fly around or whatever. That's literally it. And let's see, who else? There are more. I feel like I'm missing. Am I missing a plot thread? I feel like I'm missing a plot thread. I can't remember. There are so many that it's just hard to keep track of them all. Which, yeah, this movie is just a hot mess in terms of narrative structure. But yeah, basically it's the same. All in all, it's just the same fucking plot as the first movie, but with some changes here and there. That's it. This Sing 2 literally just repeated the same premise that the first movie had, albeit changing. Albeit they changed like they changed different parts. It's just stupid. So positives. There aren't going to be very many. I have a lot of criticisms regarding this film because it's just a hot mess. When I first watched it, believe it or not, when I first watched it, I didn't think, oh, it's all that bad. But then after watching reviews and then rewatching the film, yes, I watched it twice, I was like, okay, yeah, this movie does suck. Even harder than the first one. Like, the first one wasn't even all that good, and then the second one just went and made things a lot worse. Okay, well, let me talk about the positives first. But before I do that, let me check out the chat. Okay. But anyway, let me talk about the positives first. So, I mean, there's good animation. I think that's really all I can say about the about the movie. There just aren't very many praises I can sing. I'm sorry, but like the animation's good. It's definitely good. The Illumination knows how to do that. Again, it's not anything groundbreaking or whatever. Not like, say, the bad guys are Into the Spider-Verse, but it's still good animation. It's good. I like it. I still don't like the art style, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, like the animation's good. Characters are definitely expressive, you know, plenty of colors, all that stuff. You know, just typical stuff about animation. Good body movements, all that stuff. I'm not an animation expert, so I can't really go into that, but I thought the animation was good. But yeah, I think that's all I can say about the movie. I'm sorry, like it's just like I think the only good thing about it is just the animation. Everything else is just shit. It's just shit. So let me just go to the negatives. Actually, no, there is one thing. Okay, I found the subplot with Ash and Clay Calloway. That was actually interesting. I will give the movie. 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 I will give the movie that. Like, that subplot was actually interesting. The other subplots were just boring. But that subplot was actually interesting. It was. I actually like that subplot. But that's probably like the most profound part of the story, because everything else was just trash. But that was the most profound part. So, yeah, I like that. Like watching, like learning about Clay Calloway's past, and having him, overcome, overcome that his desire to just shut himself away from the world so he can make music again. That was interesting. That was definitely interesting. I thought that was, I won't say it was perfectly done, but it was decently done. So the movie has that much. I also like the fight scene between Johnny and the dance coach. Like, Johnny actually, like, see, the thing is that the professional dance coach, like, Johnny, like, he tried to work with the dance coach, but it just didn't work out. So he decided to find another one. He saw the street dancer girl, and I will say that she's not a bad character, but again, like, there's not really much to talk about with her. She hardly got any focus. She helps Johnny, after convincing her, Johnny gets some help from her regarding dancing, and he manages to nail the moves in the production, for the production. The dance coach gets mad because the street dancer said, "You know what? I can turn Johnny into a great dancer, even in just like, I think it was 2 days or whatever. I can't remember the time frame. This movie's sense of time is kind of stupid, and I'll explain why later. Actually, I already explained a bit of why that is, but there's even more to it, surprisingly. But yeah, she manages to make Johnny a better dancer than the dance coach ever could. He gets mad and he decides to challenge Johnny on stage, and which obviously wasn't part of the script. Johnny at first fumbles, but then he rises up thanks to the street dancer's encouragement, and then he defeats the dance coach on stage. I actually like that part. Granted, the entire subplot wasn't very good, but I did like that part. I liked that scene. I liked it. I think that's all I can say about the movie. Yeah, Ash is voiced by Scarlett Johansson. That's correct. And Matthew McConaughey voices Buster Moon. Tori Kelly voices Mina. I forgot who voices Johnny the Gorilla, but I don't care to look up all their names. Anyway, all the actors' names, I don't care to look them up. But yeah, I think those are the only good parts of the film. Everything else was just trash. Okay, let me tear into this film now. Oh man, there's just so much wrong with this film. It's just not good. Okay. This is probably the most important problem that the film has, because see, at least the first film was still kind of contained despite having several subplots, but this one has way too many subplots. There are too many fucking subplots. Again, you have Johnny's subplot with the dance coach, and the Rosa subplot with being afraid of heights, and Ash's subplot with Clay Calloway, Mina's subplot with her crush, and I'm like, why are there so many subplots? And of course, there's the whole subplot, Mr. Moon, just trying to run everything and failing at first, and it's just, I'm just like, there are too many subplots, even more so than in the first film, and I'm just like, why? Like, if you have too many, you won't be able to develop any of them. And unsurprisingly, most of them end up being undeveloped. Like, I'm just like, why are there so many? You're branching out too much. Like, stop doing that. Like, just focus on a few subplots. If you have too many, it can really ruin the product, because again, your story will end up lacking depth because you don't have enough time to focus on every single subplot for a sufficient amount of time. Like, that's the movie's biggest problem, and even then, it's not the only problem. And another problem that the movie has is, and I don't really know why the director allowed this to happen. The music is mostly just pop songs. Like, mostly just pop songs. A shit ton of them. A shit ton of pop songs. I'm not even joking. There are so many songs in this movie. So many. From different genres, I should say. Popular songs, not just pop, but popular songs. Like most of the songs, like, they range from rap to hip hop to pop to rock to whatever. Like, and there are just so many of them in the film, and most of them are just played for like a few seconds at most, sometimes for a minute or two or even three. And I'm just like, why you guys have so many of these songs? Why you have so many licensed songs in your products? Like, why are there so many? Even the first movie didn't have this many. It had a fair amount, but it had a fair number of licensed songs, but not nearly to the extent of this movie. Not nearly to the extent that this movie did. And I'm just like, why are there so many? Like, why? Like, seriously. And apparently, from what I've heard, like 15% of the budget went into the songs. So I'm just like, that explains quite a bit. It explains why the rest of the movie is lacking. So apparently they put effort into like having songs for people to dance to or sing to while watching the movie, but the movie has so little substance that, you know, everything else ended up being pretty lacking. It's just, I'm like, why are there so many licensed songs? Like, you hear shit like, and there's so many song selections don't even make any sense. Like, you have, like, there's this song from The Weeknd, I Can't Feel My Face. You know that song, right? Why is that in this movie? Like, that song is explicitly about drugs. Why are you putting a song about drugs in a kid's movie? Like, some of these songs, like, again, like, I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And there are also some weird selections, like Slim Shady by Eminem and Look What You Made Me Do by Taylor Swift. And I'm just like, why are you... Did you guys just literally did you guys just literally pick these songs at random? Because some of these don't really fit thematically into the movie. It just makes no fucking sense. And it's just no. Why are there so many licensed songs? Like, guys, you overdid it. Oh, hi, Marcy. Oh, your birthday's already passed? Like, when was your birthday? Let me change this from popular to licensed. I'm like, why are there so many licensed songs? It makes no sense. You have too many. And plus, you just end up wasting money by having all those songs. Like, because again, you have to pay for the rights to them. And like, apparently, like, the songs cost like what, 11 million? About 11 million, I think. I can't remember what the actual number is, but it was like 15% of the budget. So I'm just like, you guys wasted all your money on, well, not all of your money, but a lot of your money on this. Like, that money could have been better spent elsewhere. And like, I think there's only like one original song. There's like only one original song in this movie, the one that Ash and Clay Calloway perform during the production. But I can't even remember what it's called. I don't care. Like, it was a nice tune, but I can't be bothered to remember what the song was called. That's just how shitty the music is in this movie. Now, to be fair, there are some selections that do make sense, like Senorita by Camila Cabello. Like that one's fine. And but like some of these track selections just don't make any sense. Yeah, the music, I'd say it's good, but it's not. I mean, I like a lot of the songs that the movie used, but you know, the fact that the movie has that many, that's just not good. Okay, so another problem I have with the movie is, oh, where do I start? This is, oof. Okay. The villain was just fucking ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous. So he tried to kill Mr. Moon. As I said earlier, he tried to kill Mr. Moon. He tried to kill Mr. Moon simply because his simply because his daughter was, no longer had the role she wanted, which she thought she was fired, and he thought Mr. Moon had fired her. I'm just like, dude, overreaction much? Like your daughter, you think your daughter gets fired, and then you just want to go and kill the guy responsible, supposedly responsible. Like you like, I'm like, that's an overreaction. I'm sorry, I just find it really stupid. It's like your daughter got fired, presumably, and you just go and try to kill the guy who was in charge of the production because of that. I mean, now granted, the wolf guy did find out that Mr. Moon actually didn't know Clay Calloway personally, but it's like, seriously, like your daughter gets fired, and then all of a sudden you want to kill the leader of the production. Like, really? That's such an overreaction, and not to mention that's very stupid too. Like, it's just impractical because there's pavement below, and people are gonna notice that shit. So if Mr. Moon falls and just splats, gets he's all over the pavement, people are gonna investigate. Like, how would you be able to kill him without anyone else noticing? By just dropping him off your building. Like, people would investigate, and it wouldn't be hard for them to find out exactly where Mr. Moon had been thrown off. Like the wolf guy is just stupid and just crazy. Like, granted, he was always meant to be some sort of psychopath, but I think the writers made him too much of one. Because again, like, killing somebody just because, oh shit. Excuse me. Sorry. OBS disconnected for a moment. But anyway, but it's just stupid because it's like even if you kill him, you're gonna have to find somebody else to replace him as replace Mr. Moon as the head of production, and it would be hard to do that on short notice, especially when the guy you tried to kill had the most experience with the production and thus knew exactly what it was going to be about and stuff like that. Like, it was just a stupid move on his part all around, in my opinion. Yeah, the wolf guy, the producer, the villain, he was just really just ridiculous and stupid. Makes me wonder why the talent scout's even working for him, considering that she was the one who freed Mr. Moon and told him to just literally leave the city and never come back. I don't know. I just don't fucking know. At least she got the police to arrest his ass. Although I'm surprised she just didn't do that before, because apparently this isn't the first time that the wolf guy had done something like that. That wasn't the first time he had done something like that before. So I don't know. This movie's stupid. It's like, okay, now he's being locked up when he's had a history of this kind of shit. But whatever. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so Oh yeah, this is also the biggest problem with the movie. Movie is just a repeat of its predecessor. It's just a repeat of the first film. That's literally it. As I said earlier, it's just a repeat of the first film, which makes no sense to me. Like, why? Like, why are you doing the same thing again? Like, what reason is there for it? Oh, there's an obvious reason, money. But like, to me, it's just easier not to do it in the first place. Like, I don't understand. It's like you're wasting your time. I mean, yeah, again, money is like. I mean, I guess if people like are like, okay, we could just do the same thing again, and we can make money that way. Again, low effort. I guess that makes sense. But like, don't do that. Just don't do it. It's stupid. Like, seriously, like, just stop. Just stop. Like, don't do the same thing that the first work in the series did. And just change a few things here and there. And that's just so fucking lazy, and it's so damn irritating. Because this movie is basically like, again, you have Mr. Moon trying to make his crew successful. It's just basically the same thing as the first movie, and he struggles, but then eventually comes out on top. And I'm just like you got it. Like, you guys could have just used different characters for this movie. Like, they could have just had different characters, and the movie would have been better. Because there's really no reason to make the characters go through all this again. There's no reason. You don't need to. We don't need the first movie again. We didn't need the first movie again. The first movie wasn't even that good to begin with. Having a second one with that managed to be even worse. That just wasn't very good. I just why? Like, we didn't need to have another Sing one. The first one was enough. It could have just this whole series could have just ended right there. Not every film needs a sequel, but no, some people just have to go and make a sequel and do the same thing as the first movie just so that they can get a quick buck. The Jumanji series did this. You know, not. I'm talking about the old Jumanji movie. I'm talking about the new one where it takes place in a video game. The second movie is basically a repeat of the first, and for no good reason. If I'm just gonna be honest, and it manages to be even worse than the first. It's like that. It's like that with this with Sing 2, where it's just basically a rehash of the first, and manages to be even worse. I that just annoys me. Don't make pointless sequels. Just don't. Now, I'm not saying that every movie out there needs to be necessary. I mean, Toy Story 4 wasn't necessary. The series could have ended at Toy Story 3. But yeah, Toy Story 4 was enjoyable. It was decent. Like, I'm not saying that every movie needs to have a reason to exist. It's okay to just have extra movies just for the hell of it. But that's not an excuse to make a shoddy product. Or a product with, like, no effort put into it. If you're going to make another product that isn't really all that necessary, you need to put effort into it so that people will still enjoy it. But no, just no. This movie is just lazy. That's just the big thing about it. It's just very, very lazy. Just very lazy. And to make matters worse, and this is just an extension of the previous point, Buster Moon doesn't fucking learn his lesson. He didn't learn his lesson from the last film about lying. And he didn't learn anything from the last film about lying. Because his lie literally screwed over his theater and the people that were working in it. So you think, okay, I learned now not to never lie again. I mean, not to ever lie again, sorry. But no, he goes and does the exact same thing here. He lies to a producer about knowing this famous musician who will take part in his musical. It's just like, no, you're doing the same thing that you did in the first film. You didn't learn anything, did you? Like, where you're just lying again. I just don't. I just like, why? See, this movie is just a rehash of the first, and it's like, why? At least in the first movie, Buster Moon didn't try to lie at first, but then just went along with the mistake that he made. But here he actually lies intentionally at the very start of the film. Like he lies right from the beginning, and I'm just like, wow, that's even worse than last time. Like he actually got worse in this film. It's just, you didn't learn your lesson about lying, did you? I don't understand it. Let's see, what else is wrong with this movie? There was another thing I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, the plot is even dumber. The plot is just dumb. Oops. The plot is just very dumb. It's just dumb. See, here's the thing. At the beginning of the movie, Buster Moon actually had a success. Like, his theater was thriving. It was doing just fine. Like, shows were literally being sold out every night. But one talent scout that comes in and gives a negative review, she just had a negative opinion on the production. He's all like, oh no, everything's over. Oh my god, my life is over. Oh man, I was hoping to impress her, but I couldn't. And I'm just like, dude, it's one fucking talent scout. She's not the only one in the city. I'm sure there are others out there. Like, she's just one fucking talent scout, and you yourself are aware that your shows sell, like, they sell out every night. Every night they are sold out every night. And for whatever reason, that's not enough for you. You're just like, oh, I have to go and impress this one talent scout, and I'm just like, dude, you could have just ignored her and continued on with your theater business. You didn't. Even the fucking benefactor, whatever her name was, the Eddie's grandma, who's funding Mr. Moon's business. Even she's like, it's just one negative review and you're acting like it's the end of the world. But instead of just telling him to be happy with his business as it is, she's like, you should go and try to change your mind. Like, just go and make things happen instead of just sitting here moping. And I'm just like, no, fam. He's fine. He's doing just fine now. Just tell him to just ignore her and continue with the business. Because, like, really, Mr. Moon did not need to go through all of this in the film. This film's plot was completely unnecessary. He could have just stayed right at the theater. But no, he's like, no, we have to go to a different city and try to impress this guy. And I'm just like, dude, your theater is just fine. Did you really need anything else? And apparently, and for what's really stupid is that, like, Mr. Moon and the others leave behind the theater. So, like, what, you guys, like, so I'm like, wait, who's watching the theater? So, like, is it just temporarily closed for now? Like, so you guys are just, because you guys are just missing out on opportunities to make money at this point. It's like, Mr. Moon's like, okay, I'm just gonna leave this theater and then go and try to impress his talent scout. Like, dude, like, okay, I don't know. I don't fucking know at this point. I don't know. Like, your theater was already successful. You didn't need anything else. Now, if his theater had been struggling again, then this whole plot would have made more sense. If his theater had been struggling again, then the whole plot would have made more sense. But that's not what happened. They should have just made it to where, like, the theater is like, the theater does well at first, but then, critics, like, everywhere start, slamming it, and then it just starts to fall under again. Then, the whole plot would have made more sense. But no, that's not what happened. That's just not what happened. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Like, the plot is just really, really fucking stupid. It's just very dumb, and I say completely unnecessary. It didn't need to happen. Oh, your birthday was on August 30th? Okay, well, happy late birthday. It's like, what, a week ago? About a week ago? But anyway. Yeah, I have a lot of negatives regarding this film. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think. Oh, let me add this. There, yeah. I'm sorry, but Mr. Moon just comes off as ungrateful in the film because it's like, dude, your theater is successful. You literally had everything you ever wanted, and you're like, no, 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 I gotta go impress this talent scout. It's just one talent scout, dude. Another will come and will probably like your show, or if not that one, then another. Like, there are a lot of talent scouts out there. One's bound to like your stuff. Like, like you didn't need to like go try to like make it big in another city when you were doing just fine in what was essentially the equivalent of Los Angeles. I just I don't know. I don't fucking know. Anything else regarding this film I can rip apart? I feel like there are more things I can talk about. I'm trying to think. I don't know, like, are there any other things? I'm trying to think. Uh, I think I've just about covered everything, actually. I think I've covered everything, but I'm not entirely sure. Um, hmm. Okay, so. Yeah, I think that's everything. I can't think of anything else. I literally cannot think of anything else. Um. Hmm. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Did I cover everything? I think I covered everything. But yeah, Sing 2 is just not a very good movie. It just sucks. It's just very, very bad. I know some people enjoyed this film. That's fine, more power to you, but in objectively speaking, it's just not very good. I'm sorry, it just sucks. It just sucks. I can't think of anything else, so I guess I'll just go to the next movie, The Secret Life of Pets one. But before I do that, I will be right back. I'm going to go and use the restroom. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I've seen only like the only DBZ episode, the only Dragon Ball Z episode I've seen is the one where Gohan fights Cell. That's it. That's the only bit of DBZ I've ever watched. I I'm not really a huge fan of DBZ. I do have a few of the games. I have like Xenoverse 2 on the Switch and Fighter Z, I think. But yeah, I'm not really a big Dragon Ball fan. Like, it's just never really appealed to me all that much. But I might think about watching it one day, although it's been around for a while, so I'll have a lot to watch. But I think that's it for Sing 2. I can't think of any other negatives with it. I feel like there might be one more, but I just can't think of it. Well, I guess one thing I don't like regarding Sing 2, although this is a bit, I guess this is a bit subjective, but the thing is that we don't really get to explore. You don't really get to explore. Sorry, I'm typing with one hand because I have chips in the other. Red Shore City. You know, the city where the gang goes to, so that they could, you know, audition for so that the producer, the Wolf guy, can, you know, fund their production or whatever, make their dreams come true or whatever. Yeah, that city. I think it's called I meant Red Shore City. I think it's called Red Shore City. We don't really get to explore it because it looks like Las Vegas basically, and it seems pretty interesting, but unfortunately we don't get it. We don't get to explore it, which would have been like, it would have been nice to have the game like explore that city a bit, and then go and try to audition. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. So, oops. Anything else? The characters, most of them are boring, but that's just kind of like, that just ties into plot to point number 1 on this list. Clay Calloway was actually interesting, but everyone else was just boring, which is just really sad. I'm sorry, but like, again, it doesn't help that, again, this film is just a rehash of the previous one, so that doesn't help. I think that's really all the complaints I have regarding the film. But it's like low effort, and in terms of narrative structure, it is all over the place. Like, it's basically a cash grab, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm fine with animators just, you know, wanting money. Like, I'm fine with that. I'm not saying that every film has to be a masterpiece, or that, you know, that every animator has to be passionate about their job or whatever, because at the end of the day, it's a job. It's okay to just want you to do your job for money. I'm not saying that you can't do that, but that's none of that is an excuse for having such low quality shit or low effort shit. Just because you want money doesn't give you the permission to not give a fuck or to not try. Come on, work a bit harder, Illumination. It's not hard. But yeah, Sing 2 sucks. Let's just get to the Secret Life of Pets 1. I'm tired of talking about Sing 2. Anyway. Okay. So, a bit of background. So, someone somewhere decided, well, in Illumination, but whatever, decided that, you know what? You guys remember how Toy Story basically took the idea of what do your toys do when you're not around? or when you're not at home. Why don't we do that, but with pets this time? So, yeah, The Secret Life of Pets basically took what Toy Story did and just did with pets instead. And somehow managed to fuck it up. Like, I'm sorry, but this movie is basically just discount Toy Story, and it's manages to be even worse. Not that Toy Story was bad or anything, but like this film, like you think that having an interesting idea, like what do your pets do when you're not home? That's actually an interesting idea. Like, granted, it's not completely original, but that's fine. It's still unique. Although there are other pet movies out there, but I mean, I still think it was a good idea, but the execution is so shit. It's like they took an interesting idea and made it boring. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you take inspiration from something so good and then fuck it up entirely? Because The Secret Life of Pets is basically discount Toy Story. Like, the plots are similar. Although I don't really remember the first Toy Story movie all that well. I do, but yeah, like I do remember some parts, and this is definitely similar to Toy Story in a number of ways, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Again, like, it's fine to borrow from other stories, but this film is so lacking in effort, at least somewhat, that like it just comes off as a ripoff rather than something that is actually inspired by something else. And it manages to be a shitty ripoff too. Oops. But anyway. Yeah, basically Illumination's version of Toy Story, right? Exactly. It's shit. Like, see, that's the thing about Illumination. They just don't try. All they care about is just maximizing profit. But they don't try. They just don't fucking try. And they didn't try very much with this film. So, okay, so the film is basically about this dog named Max. And he gets this roommate named Duke. And at first they're at odds with each other, but then they somehow get lost from they somehow end up far away from home, and then they have to make their way back. Okay, I mean, that's fine. A lot of stories do this. Again, not a bad thing. Like, okay, you have a decent setup here, and like through the entire journey they bond with each other, and then they break up, and then they reunite. You know, typical stuff. Like, typical stuff. But there's more. So there's this dog named Ginger who has a crush on Max, and she finds out that he's gone, and she goes and looks for him, and she gets all these other animals and these other pets in the neighborhood to help. Yeah, they're all part of one big community, apparently. And that's not all. You also have this underground community of animals who were rejected by humans or mistreated by humans or whatever, and they all hate humans. And their leader is a white bunny named Snowball, who is quite possibly the most annoying character in this film, but I'll get to him later. And I just don't like him. But yeah, so, and they're basically the villains of the story, particularly the bunny character. Because they also hate pets as well. Like, they hate pets. And they target Max and Duke. So, yeah, those are the villains of the story. The underground rejects. And I think my cousin's calling me, but she's just going to have to wait. Anyway. Not Stephanie, but one of her sisters. Anyway, I think it's... Yeah, it's her sister. Anyway, but yeah, they as you would predict, the two, Max and Duke make it home, and but before there's this scene where there's this scene. Okay, so shortly before the end, Duke gets captured again by the Pound. Yeah, he and Max got captured by the Pound like earlier in the film, and they're on this truck. But then they escape with the help of Snowball, who initially thinks that that the two dogs are like against humans, but they're really not. And Snowball ends up targeting them and chasing them throughout the film or whatever. But later, when after Duke gets captured again, like this truck, like, and this truck also captures some of Snowball's friends. So Snowball and Max make an alliance. They form an alliance, and they target the truck and try to save their friends. But the truck ends up like accidentally nearly flying over the bridge, like this long bridge, and like they rush to save everyone on the truck. And yeah. But before that, Snowball's like all like his organization goes and tries to attack Max, because earlier in the film he and Duke accidentally killed one of the animals. It was a giant snake with only one fang, and they all try to target Max. Snowball unfortunately can't defend Max because he's knocked unconscious. Like he was unconscious because of the crash on the bridge. But then Ginger comes by and like literally kicks so much ass and saves Max, and then tells him to go and rescue Duke from the falling truck or whatever. But yeah, like at the end they make it home. Everyone makes it home and shit, whatever. And Snowball actually finds, like, someone finds Snowball and makes him her pet. At first Snowball's like, ew, no, I don't want to be a pet. But then he's like, actually, you know what? I don't mind this. So yeah, he becomes a pet and softens up. So whatever. And Max and Duke become the best of roommates or whatever. Yeah, that's basically the story. So like it plays out similarly to Toy Story, where you have two characters who don't like each other, but then get like separated from their home, and then they have to make it back. Then they bond with each other and shit like that. That's basically the movie. Oh, hey, Lone Walker. Oh, the woman who voiced Gidget also voiced the villain of Zootopia? I didn't even know that. Wow. Okay, that's cool. I need to talk about Zootopia at one point. I have the film, among other Disney films. I have quite a bit of them. I have Ratatouille, Encanto, Raya and the Last Dragon, Soul, Mulan 2020, Mulan 1998. I already talked about Mulan 2020 though, and Encanto and Raya and the Last Dragon. I also have Frozen 1 and Frozen 2, but I've already ranted about those. I have Turning Red and Tangled. And I still want to get more. I'm trying to get like... I want to get like Big Hero 6, Luca. I've already watched Luca, but I actually want to keep it. I want to get like all 3 Cars films. I haven't seen the third, but I've seen the first 2. Yeah, I'm trying to start a collection here, and I have quite a bit of a collection so far. I have plenty of movies from DreamWorks, several from Disney, and some from Illumination, and some from Paramount, like Nickelodeon or whatever the company's called. I don't give a shit to look it up. Anyway, but yeah, that's the movie, the first movie, Secret Life of Pets. Okay, I'm not gonna have a lot of positive things to say about this one because it's just not a very good film, but it's not nearly as bad as its sequel. Okay, so positives. Well, the animation's good. I mean, again, this is Illumination though. They don't make crappy animation. They make animation good, not amazing, but good. The animation's not the most amazing thing I've seen, but it's good. It works. It's good. I wouldn't say passable. I actually think it's good, but it's not the greatest I've ever seen. Because Illumination doesn't try to make the animation as great as possible. They just make it good looking. They just make it look as good as... Just make it look good enough, basically. So it works. It works. The story. Okay. The story. Well, I thought the story was okay. I think the story is actually okay. Oops. Here, hold up one moment. Let me just wipe this. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's wipe that stuff off my fingers because I was eating cheese chips. Okay, so I think... Let me fix this. I think the story was actually decent. I think it was decent. It was serviceable. It was passable. Like, there were some parts I didn't like about it. Again, going back to the fucking bunny character. But I think the story was actually okay. At least the parts involving Max and Duke. I actually liked the subplot with them. I actually liked that. I actually liked that they bonded and that, you know, we get a bit of insight into Duke's backstory. I actually like that subplot between them, along with them just escaping danger. I even like that one scene, where Max and Duke are like in this sausage factory, and then they just lose control and eat all the sausages they can, and they even fantasize about being in the sausage world, a world full of sausages. Talking, dancing, singing sausages. I actually liked that scene. I actually liked it. I liked the sausage fantasy scene. So, the scene even uses a song from Grease, the very last one that plays. You know, "We Go Together," which has some of the dumbest lyrics I've ever heard. But again, that was the point. So. But yeah, like, I like that scene, and I did like that part of the plot. The other parts, there's a subplot with Ginger and some other animals trying to find Max. That one wasn't as good. It just wasn't. I mean, Ginger, I like Ginger the character, but the other characters just suck. They're just so forgettable. They're forgettable, bland, one-dimensional. They're just boring. Now, granted, not every character needs to be deep or complex or whatever, but they just need to be interesting. But the thing is that most of these characters are just not interesting. But I did like... But if I'm going to like praise any of the characters, well, according to this movie's standards anyway, I liked Max, I liked Duke, and I liked Ginger. And I think that was it. Everyone else I just either didn't care for or just flat out wanted to slap. Especially Snowball, the bunny character. I just wanted to slap that motherfucker. But I'll explain why in a moment. So, yeah. I should probably say part of it anyway. I mean, that part of the story was decent. So I'm like, not all the story was good, but there were some parts that were good. Some parts were good, in my opinion anyway. Some parts were just, eh. Oh, you'll be right back, Maple? Okay. Yeah, Disney movies are, well, they're generally great. Okay. Anything else? Any other positives? The music, there was barely any music, so I'm not going to comment on that. I already talked about the animation, the story. I think that's just about it. Okay. So, now let's get to the negatives. Okay. This film is not funny. It's just not funny at all. Like, it's meant to be a comedy, clearly, but most of the jokes are just, they're either flat or just outright bad. Like, the whole thing comes off as if the writers had never written a joke before. And I can't stand media like that. Because, like, there's just so many dumb jokes in there that just don't quite hit the mark. Like, Snowball accidentally pooping out a bunch of brown balls or whatever. That's supposed to be funny. Yeah, sure, not really. And it's just, I'm just like, these jokes are so stupid. Like, this film is not funny. I did not find it funny at all. It was like only a moment or two that actually made me chuckle or smile. But I can't name a single moment in this movie that made me burst out laughing. Like seriously, Illumination, y'all gotta work on your humor because it is bad. At least in this movie. Like, just look at DreamWorks. They know how to do humor. Like, you guys, no. Just no. Well, I mean, to be fair, they did, like, the Minions are, they're kind of funny, so it's like Illumination can do humor. They try. But I don't think they tried very hard here. So, I don't know. Like, this film is just not very funny. And another thing that I don't like... Oh, you uploaded the video? Okay, cool. The other thing that I don't like is that the concept of the secret life of pets was completely wasted. It was. Like, again, you had a decent concept here, and then you went and wasted it. Like, no joke. You think that judging by the, like, if you go by the title of the movie, if you read the title of the movie, you're gonna think, oh, okay, well, I guess we're gonna learn some interesting things about the lives of pets. I bet they do cool things. They don't. They don't do cool things. They do stupid, ordinary things that aren't that different from what humans do. They listen to loud music. They eat food in the fridge that they're not supposed to eat. And so on and so forth. Although there are some things that only the pets do, like drag their butts on the floor or other things like that. It's just like this shit is supposed to be what they do, what pets do secretly. Like, this shit is what they do, and they tried to make a movie out of this concept. Like, really, what was the point of calling it The Secret Life of Pets if you were going to not... Like, if it was just going to end up being a boring waste of time? Because this is just a waste of a concept. They could have done something interesting with this, but they didn't. It's just pets doing stupid shit. And no joke, the fucking trailer of this movie is like the same as the... Like it's like the same as the first few minutes of the movie. Like, they're pretty much identical. Where it's like... Where again, you know, the trailer that showed a montage of pets doing stupid things, that's literally the exact same thing at the very beginning of the movie. And I'm just like, why? Like, what was the point of making it a trailer? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Why? Just why? Like, you could have done something interesting with this, but you failed, Illumination. Why did you fail? Because the pets just don't do anything interesting for the most part. They just fucking don't. God damn. Well, I'm glad I'm making you guys laugh in the chat. I'm glad I am. Just Jesus, like, seriously, you have an interesting concept here and you're not going to use it? Or you use it, but in the worst possible way? Or at least in the most boring possible way? I don't know. It's just take some if you're going to borrow from something like Toy Story, at least know what at least learn what made Toy Story good. Just I don't know. Because the toys actually did interesting things in the Toy Story series. They did interesting things. They went on adventures. They fought. They had fights with other toys. That shit was interesting. And then there's this, The Secret Life of Pets. Do they go out and have adventures? Do they fight other pets or other animals? No. Well, I mean, there was a bit of fighting between the pets and the wild animals. I'll just call them wild animals. That just makes things easier. But they even made that boring. So it's what's the fucking point? You could have just made this movie about Max and Duke and just trying to find their way back home. You could have made a movie out of just that. But no, you decided to throw in this concept of pets having a secret life. It's you just take that out and focus on Max and Duke. That they were literally the only important parts of the film. Nothing else was necessary. And then another thing that I don't like about this film is Snowball. The Snowball with the bunny character was fucking annoying. Holy shit. You ever get that one character? Do you ever have that one character in a movie that is just so obnoxious and takes up so much screen time that you just want to slap the shit out of them? So that's basically Snowball for me. For one thing, he's painfully unfunny. He tries to make jokes, they just don't work, and he talks a lot and yells a lot, and I'm just dude, shut the fuck up. You're annoying. I just can't, literally every time that character showed up and talked, I just wanted to slap the shit out of him. I was like, can somebody shoot this damn rabbit already, please? He's annoying. And it doesn't help that he's voiced by Kevin Hart. He was voiced by Kevin Hart, and I'm not a fan of Kevin Hart's comedy, so that certainly didn't help matters. I'm sorry, I just don't like Kevin Hart's comedy. I don't like it. But yeah, having him voice his character it was just a nail in the coffin for me. I just don't like Snowball. He's just very irritating. Now he's a lot less irritating in the second movie, thankfully, but in the first movie, I want to kill him. I want to strangle him. I just want, or at least just put duct tape on his mouth, because he really should just not talk ever again. He should just stop talking. I just can't stand him. I just couldn't. Every time he spoke, I wanted to shoot him. And I was like, bitch, it's rabbit season. I'm gonna go Elmer Fudd on this bitch. Let's go. I'm gonna go Elmer Fudd on his ass. Oh my fucking god, this rabbit was annoying. Damn. But anyway, I know some people like Snowball. That's fine. I don't. I want to stab him. But if you like him, okay, that's fine by me. Okay. Okay, let's see. What else do I not like about this film? Because there's a number of things, as you guys can see. Oh, wow. Okay, I pretty much already talked about this earlier, but most of the characters were irrelevant. As I said, Max, Duke, and Snowball are the only characters that matter in this movie. They're the only characters that matter. And Ginger as well. Ginger, the eagle guy, Tiberius, I think that's what his name was. It could have just been about Snowball, Max, Duke, Ginger, and Tiberius. It could have just been about those five. Although Snowball would have to, have a posse of animals as well, which he did. He did have a few animals by his side. They could have just been in the movie too, and they could have just been the ones hunting Max and Duke. But no, there's an entire society hunting Max and Duke. I'm just you don't need all these animals. Only a few would have been fine. The characters should have just been scaled down greatly. The number of characters, I mean. Because that would have made the film a little better. in my opinion. Yeah, if you have too many characters in your story, that can really water down your film. Like, it can really mess with the quality. Okay, anything else? Anything else? Okay. Oh, and there's this one character that I just don't like, Chloe the cat. I don't like her. She's meant to be a deadpan snarker, you know, like say Minna from Twilight Princess or Dexter Manning on YouTube, stuff like that. But she manages to be not nearly as good as those two. Because honestly, she's just not a very funny character, or nor is she a very interesting character. She just has a very apathetic attitude, which is fine. Again, characters like that can work, but when Chloe does it, it's just no. I'm just like, no, fam, you're not a good character. You're boring. Somehow they made a deadpan snarker character boring, and I'm just like, that just takes some special skill to make a character fucking boring. A character like that boring, a character that's literally supposed to make people laugh. That's really saying something. Like, I just don't know. So most of the characters were irrelevant, irritating, or boring. There, let's say that. Anything else? Huh. Anything else? Anything else? Let's see. I don't think there's much I can say about the negatives, because this film has some problems, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. The second one, though, oh, I'm gonna rip right into that one. Okay, I'm trying to think. Are there any other ones? I think I've just about covered them all. I'm trying to think. I think those are all the negatives I could think of. So, yeah. Soul Plane? No, I don't think I've seen it. But yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't like. I just did not like Snowball as a character. If you like Kevin Hart's comedy, fine. I don't. I just don't. And having him voice that character, I feel like Kevin Hart's voice just doesn't fit the character either. I don't know why. Like, I mean, he did a serviceable job, but I feel like they could have used someone else. Anyway, is there anything else? I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Yeah, this movie's just very basic. It's serviceable, but it's not good. It's not terrible, but it's not good. It's just serviceable. But it's not as bad as the second one. Okay, the second one. Now, the second one has a problem very similar to Sing 2, in that there are there are multiple subplots for no good reason. But I'll get to that later. So, okay, so in this movie, actually, you know what? No, let's talk about it now. But I'll expound the whole subplot problem later. This movie is very weird because it has like 3 subplots going on at once, and they all have almost no relation to each other. That's basically the second movie in a nutshell. You just have 3 different subplots, and they have zero connection with one another, except for the very end, where they all come together, and in the most forced way possible. That's basically this movie. So there's one subplot where Max, So his owner, Katie, I think that's her name. She marries this guy, and then years later they have a baby, um, named Liam, and I forgot the husband's name, nor do I care to look it up. But Liam, like, he grows up, like, he starts off as a baby, obviously, and then he grows up, and then, like, he's just at now he's at preschool age, and um and so Max, he becomes this unprotected. He becomes like an unprotected parent to Liam. Like he basically tries to protect Liam from the world because he thinks the world is scary. So he's just very overprotect. He's overprotective of Liam. Duke not so much, but Max yes. And like, so Max's character arc is about Duke is kind of just there in this movie. He has a very minor role. I don't like. He's just there. But this subplot is mostly about Max, and his arc is about learning to just not be so protective of Liam and to just let him, go out and experience the world instead of trying to shield him from everything. And he learns that lesson from this dog on a farm named Rooster, who's actually an interesting character. And he's voiced by Harrison Ford. Um, so, so, okay, so, like, so Max, Duke, and Liam's family, they go to this farm to visit a relative or whatever, and then that's where Max and Duke meets Rooster. And yeah, throughout the subplot, like like at one point Max accidentally lets out all the sheep on the farm, and then Rooster tries to go back and get them all. He's a sheepdog, Rooster, I mean. But then one goes off into the mountains or whatever, and Rooster orders Max to come along and try to come along with him so that they could save the sheep, who actually, lamb, whatever, who's dangling on a branch from a mountain, on a mountain, and they say the Max is initially very afraid to save the lamb, but Rooster manages to convince him, and they save the lamb, who's actually the lamb. I actually like his character. He's very relaxed and very stupid. Like he's just chilling there on the branch. His foot's stuck, but he's not panicking or anything like that. He's just like, oh, my foot's stuck. Like, Max is like, hey, come to me, and the lamb's like, okay, but my foot's stuck. Like, he just says it so casually. It's just really funny. Like, I like that character. But we'll talk about him later. I think Cotton was his name, but yeah, we'll talk about him later. But yeah, Max basically, after that experience, Max actually starts becoming less afraid of things in general. And he and Rooster bond a bit, and then then the next day, Max and Duke have to leave, along with the family. But Rooster, gives them a goodbye present, and then, yeah. And then that's how that subplot ends for now. And then there's another subplot where, okay, so earlier in the movie, Max entrusted his, I think, girlfriend, I think they're dating now or whatever, his girlfriend Ginger with his favorite squeak toy named Busy Bee or whatever. And Ginger promises to take care of it, but then she accidentally loses it and then ends up in this apartment with this old lady and a bunch of cats, until she has to learn how Ginger wants to go into that area, but the cats don't take too kindly to dogs, so she gets help from Chloe on how to pretend to be a cat so she could sneak in and get the toy, and she succeeds somehow. And that's it. That's basically that subplot. And yeah, it's out of all of them, that's the weakest one. It's not, it's entertaining. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the weakest one in terms of writing. Uh, and then there's this third subplot where Snowball, he's now Captain Snowball. He's a superhero. He wears his costume or whatever. He's not, like, he just pretends to be a superhero. I mean, he so he's, you know, we see him, we see his owner taking care of him, and some dog out, I don't know what type of dog it was, but some dog out of nowhere, I forgot what her name was. What was the dog's name? She was voiced by Tiffany Haddish or whatever. What was her name? Daisy. That was her name. Daisy. So this dog named Daisy comes to Snowball and asks him for help because she wants to free this tiger from the circus because the tiger's owner is mistreating the tiger. So they both go to the circus and try to. So they both go to the circus and try to save the tiger. They struggle because, you know, the owner also has wolves. But they manage to defeat the wolves and rescue the tiger, and then they escape the circus. But unfortunately, the owner and his wolves track Snowball and the others down throughout the city, and that's not the end of that subplot, but the owners eventually, the owner and his wolves eventually have them cornered, and those are the three subplots, and they all come together at the end because Snowball tries to hide the tiger in Max's apartment, and that causes Max to be involved in that subplot, and then Max works with the others to help rescue the tiger. The owner comes by and just manages to take the tiger away. So Max works with the others to save the tiger, and he also calls for backup. He calls for backup from his girlfriend Ginger. So that causes Ginger to get involved in that story as well. So that's how the plots, like all come together at the end. But through a series of sequences where they're all on a moving train. The animals manage to rescue the tiger, and they all go back to their normal lives and whatever. And I'm sure there are more details I could provide, but I don't feel like doing that because you guys get the idea. But yeah, it's just three different subplots that all come together at the end, despite not having any sort of connection with one another. And it makes me wonder, why is this a movie? Like, this kind of plot structure would be more fitting for a TV episode or for even a TV special, but not for a movie. Because that's the thing, the movie doesn't have one single general plot. It's just three plots merged into one, and in such a haphazard way. It just doesn't work. It really does not work. Now, the first movie didn't even have this problem because you had two different subplots, but they both connected pretty well, sort of. Whereas this one, it's just like, no, all the plots, all the subplots are just completely disjointed. It's just like, why? And Sing 2 had a similar issue where you had so many subplots. Well, to be fair, the subplots they all connect at the end, but they're for the most part they're all just pretty separate from each other. So it's the same thing it's the same issue that Sing 2 had, and I'm like, Illumination, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this to your sequels? Like, why are you giving them such shitty plot structures? I don't understand that. But yeah, I guess that would be a negative. The plot structure is not cohesive. Is that the right word to use? Cohesive? Yeah, it's not cohesive. It doesn't stick. It doesn't really. The individual plot points don't stick well together. Like the plot itself is kind of separated, and it's just like, why? It's just not cohesive at all. I guess I can start with the negatives first. Might as well. Okay. So yeah, like why do you have three different plot threads when honestly these could have worked well as individual plots. Like they could have just been like just episodes or shorts, films or whatever. Like these really should have just been short films. They could have just been short films. That they could have been short films for the first movie. The first movie already did have a few short films, but these could have been extra ones. These could have been extra ones. These could have done well as short films, but no. They're just three different plots crammed into one movie, and it just doesn't work. So that's a negative. Another negative. It's weird. Like, okay. Actually, I think that's probably the only negative I can think of. And even though I don't have any other negatives for this one, that one negative just fucks the movie up entirely. Like it's like the biggest negative out of all of these movies. So, I'm trying to think. There are more. Well, I'll come back to that. Let me go to the positives. So the positives. Well, for one thing, the humor is definitely better than that of the first film. Sorry, I will admit that much. Like the humor actually got better this time around. I actually did laugh a few times. Like they actually worked on the humor. I was like, okay, so the humor is actually better this time around. I actually laughed a few times. I remember watching this movie in theaters. Actually, I watched it with my cousin Stephanie and her sisters. We all watched it like shortly after it came out, and I remember laughing a few times during the movie. And I recently rewatched it just so I could prepare for this rant stream. But yeah, the humor is definitely better. Snowball is also less annoying. It's much less annoying. He's actually tolerable here, and on a few occasions he's even funny. Whereas in the first movie he was just so obnoxious. Oh my god. But in this one he's actually a lot less annoying and more likable. Granted, I still don't like him as a character, but he's just less annoying. So there's that. Well, the animation's still good. But again, it's Illumination. They're not going to have shitty animation. They won't have groundbreaking animation, but they won't have shitty animation either. So yeah, that goes without saying. Anything else? I will say that the characters are better this time around. Like, there's a better cast of characters. The cast of characters is better. Like, Chloe, for example, is actually more interested in this movie than she is in the last one. And Ginger's still interesting. Duke is just kind of there, unfortunately. But Rooster, you know, that sheepdog, he was an interesting character. That little lamb Cotton, he was also an interesting character. Daisy, she was alright. Although I don't like her voice. Like, she sounds like she smoked way too many cigarettes, but that's Tiffany Haddish for you. But like, her character was okay. Like, but yeah, like, I think the characters are actually better here. There aren't too many of them, and they're actually funnier this time around compared to the first film, where it was just a big no, just no. So it's like, well, Chi-Man, if the second movie just does things better than the first, then why are you slamming the second one? Because the plot itself is shit. The plot structure, I mean. Because again, like, I'm sorry, but like that just kills the movie so much. It just kills the movie to the point where I have to rate it even lower than the first, even though it actually does some things better. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. But are there any other positives? I'm trying to think. I can't think of any. I can't think of any other positives. Okay, so we talked about the humor. The characters are better. Snowball's less annoying. The animation's still good. Yeah, I got nothing else. I think those are all the positives I can think of. So it's like, but like, again, that plot structure, I'm sorry, but that just kills the movie for me. It just kills the movie because it's like I don't even know what the movie's about. Is it about Max learning not to be so overprotective of his kid? Is it about Ginger trying to learn how to be a cat? Is it about Snowball trying to save a tiger from a circus? I can't tell because the plot's all over the fucking place. Like, again, these should have just been short films. They would have made great short films. They didn't need to be combined into one movie. This movie was just not necessary. I feel like the first had a decent ending and they could have just stopped right there. But no. You know, Illumination, when there's a sequel to be had, you know, they've got to have a sequel. I'm just like, just stop. Just stop. Stop. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel about the second movie. I mean, it's better than Sing 2. That I will admit. Like, Sing 2 was just bad. But this movie actually, well, I'd say it's bad too, but like it's not really bad. The first one was serviceable. This one was bad, but not really bad. Just like a little underpassable in my opinion. Are there any other negatives? I'm trying to think. I think that's really the only issue I have with the film. Like, the plot structure is just very bad. Oh, there's another issue I have with the film. So apparently, okay, so Ginger successfully managed to infiltrate the cat household. But you know, at the end where she's like where she takes all the cats and even the owner, you know, to the owner's car so that they could drive to the train to help Max and the others out. Like, for whatever reason, like the other characters from the first film, like Duke, and the other two, the other, like the Duke, the weenie dog, the wiener dog, the bulldog or whatever. I don't remember their names, but they show up and they masquerade as cats too, and I'm just like, you guys, how did you guys successfully masquerade as cats and join the other cats in helping Max out? How did that happen? Because Ginger, it took quite a bit of work for her to learn to be a cat. But yeah, here they're just masquerading as cats like easily, and I'm just like, how? Like and plus they didn't even need to be there. It could have just been Ginger and Chloe and the other cats. Like the other dogs didn't need to be there. Duke didn't need to be there. Neither did the Wiener dog or Bulldog. I just, I'm just no. Just no. I mean, it's a minor complaint though. Like that's really the only other complaint I can think of. And not to mention that the movie kind of how do I phrase the last complaint? Again, this one is a minor complaint. It didn't really kill the story, but it just kind of lowered my willing suspension of disbelief. But anyway. See, a third problem that this film has is that, like, the weird thing is that these plot points, the plot itself is actually, like, these plot points, like, again, they're potentially interesting, but for whatever reason, Illumination just didn't put any effort into making them all combine seamlessly. Like, having 3 plot points is fine for a movie, but you have to integrate them in a way that serves a narrative. And this movie didn't do that. All they just did was throw 3 plots together and call it a day. That's all they did. So I guess that's really that's just the first point again. I can't think of any other way to phrase it. But yeah, it just feels lazy. That's basically the thing. This film feels lazy. Despite having 3 interesting plot points, the film just lazily put them together. So I should say the plot structure is not cohesive and feels very lazy. That's really all I can say about that. Oh shit, Maple, you came back. I'm sorry, I didn't even know this. I really should look at the chat more often. Like, I should have... Sorry. Okay. Let's see. Positives for TSLOP2, The Secret Life of Pets 2, obviously. Harrison Ford as Rooster. Right? I loved Harrison Ford as Rooster. Let me put that in. I loved Harrison Ford as Rooster. Oh my god. I loved Harrison Ford as Rooster. He really fit the character. I loved him. Now, I'm actually remembering a bit about this one. The movie really did just feel like 3 episodes of a TV show mashed together. Yeah, and from what I've seen, that seems to be a common complaint with this movie, where it just feels like 3 plots just mashed together. It all they just did was take 3 subplots that had almost no connection with each other and put them in one movie, and then had them connect at the end, and then call it a day. And even at the end when they connect, it still doesn't feel natural. Like it's just very contrived. Like Max didn't even have to be involved with the whole circus thing. And Ginger, and I find it funny how Ginger and the other cats managed to like hit the circus owner with their vehicle, like just at the moment, just when he went. Well, actually, no. I guess it's not that contrived if you think about it, because a lot of plots make it so that the heroes are saved at the last second. but that's like the only noteworthy contribution they ever do. So it just feels like Ginger could have just been, and the cats could have just been written out. That story could have just been like the pets honestly could have just taken the own down themselves. I don't know. It just feels very lazy. When the plot structure just feels very weak and lazy. Yeah, the gags are better in this one, a lot better, but the story and structure is just weaker. Exactly. Like here you have three stories which are interesting admittedly, but only individually, and when you smash them together like this, it just doesn't work. Like it's just no. Yeah, exactly. The Secret Life of Pets would be like it would work better as a show instead of as or short films even instead of as a movie. At least the second one. The first one was serviceable as a movie. The second one did not need to be a movie. They could have just made three short films, and that would have actually made them so much better. Because really, I think that these plots are actually not terrible. But when you smash them into one movie and call it a movie, no, I'm sorry, just no, just no. So it's like they did better with the humor, but they made the story worse. I'm just like, how? How do you make the story worse? How do you make it worse? Like it was already basic in the first one, and then you went and made it worse. Now compare this to Toy Story 2, the sequel to Toy Story, that The Secret Life of Pets clearly was inspired by. Toy Story 2 was amazing. It managed to be even better than the first movie. Like it was so good that I watched it so many times as a kid. Oh my god, it was just that good. Like so many times. I'm not joking. Like I rarely rewatch movies, and that was one of the few movies that I rewatched. Like it was just so good. Now, The Secret Life of Pets 2 in comparison, not even close. Toy Story 2 would be like a 9 out of 10. And The Secret Life of Pets 2 would be like a 3 out of 10. Okay, a 3 out of 10 is pretty harsh. I'd say more like a 4.5 out of 10. If I'm being generous. But yeah, you're right, Maple. These movies are so average and irrelevant that, there's not really much to say about them. Even I was struggling to find things to say about them. Because they just don't do much for me. The same goes for the Sing movies. Like, they're just there. These movies just exist. They just exist. Which is sad because even Despicable Me, that series, I wouldn't say that series is great either, but it felt like it had more effort put into it than these series did. Because, like, you can tell Illumination actually tried with the Despicable Me films to varying degrees. But then you have the Sing movies and the Secret Life of Pet movies, and Illumination is just... I'm just like, guys, do you just not give a shit? I would always rewatch Toy Story 2 right after watching the first one. Right? Oh my god, it's just that good! I don't remember the first one all that well, but I do remember a few plot points here and there. I need to go back and rewatch the first one. I need to go back and watch the entire series again, because because like Toy Story 2 is, I think it's the one I remember the most, which makes sense because it's the one I watched the most. 1, 3, and 4 I remember, but not as well as 2. Three was good. I liked 3. I thought 3 was a good movie as well. 4 was decent. It wasn't bad. It could have been better, but it wasn't bad. It was decent. 1 was good. So, like, I'd say 2 was amazing. 1 was great. 3 was good, and 4 was decent. So none of them are bad. But with me, it's like, okay, I put Toy Story 2 at the top, and then Toy Story 1, and then Toy Story 3, and then Toy Story 4. Yeah, I need to do a Rantstream on the Toy Story movies. I'm going to try to go and, like, get the Toy Story movies again. And then, because, like, I do want to revisit those. I really do want to revisit those. I'm going to look for those. I want to also do a Rantstream on the Cars movies as well. Like, I want to do that as well. Damn, I have so many ideas for Rantstreams. Oh my god. So many movies I want to do rant streams about. I don't want to overdo it though, because to be fair, this was meant to be a gaming channel rather than a movie channel or whatever. But I did say I was taking a break, so whatever. And people still enjoy these, so why not? But yeah, I need to do Toy Story as well as Cars. But yeah. But yeah, but yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'd actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I'd put Toy Story 2 as a 9.5 out of 10. Or maybe even a 10 out of 10. You know what? Fuck it. Toy Story 2 gets a 10 out of 10 for me. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a perfect as well. I'm gonna give it a perfect as well. But yeah, man, it just brings back so many memories. Oh man. You can do whatever you want. It's your channel. True. I just don't want to be one of those people that like, because you know, I just want to like make my content consistent. I don't want to be one of those people that just changes out of nowhere. Like, I don't want to be like, because that I don't want to like, because people expect gaming videos from me. I don't want to just divert from that, at least too suddenly. Though I guess it's fair for me to like do more, to add more stuff. I don't have to stop gaming. I can add movies as well. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with changing my channel a bit, so I guess I can do that. That's fine. Lightyear. I do plan to watch that at one point, but I'm not going to expect much from it. Right? Like, I remember you telling me that Toy Story 2 was like, the production was a nightmare, and yet it managed to be good. Like, the movie was nearly all the work was lost on the movie, and yet the animation studio managed to knock it out of the park. They almost lost their work, but fortunately, they still nailed it. I'm just like, wow, how, like, I'm sure they weren't even expecting it to be that good. It's like, oh shit, we fucked up, but they still knocked it out of the park, and they managed to be the best one in the series, in my opinion. Which just shows that as long as you work hard on something, even if you think it'll turn out to be shit, you never know. You never know. You might be surprised. You might think, oh, this movie is shit, or oh, this story's gonna be shit, and then people end up liking it, and it's like, wait, what? See, I got bored with talking about the Secret Life of Pets movies, and now I'm talking about Toy Story, because Toy Story is just a far more interesting franchise. You certainly won't hate yourself when watching Lightyear, but it's just kind of there with not much lasting impact. Yeah. Fair enough. Speaking of which, let me look up these titles on Amazon. Toy Story. I'm going to see if I can try to get them in 4K. I'm trying to get as many Disney movies as I can in 4K. Like, all the Disney movies I own are in 4K. Okay, so Toy Story 1 is 4K. Toy Story 2 is in 4K. Toy Story 4 is in 4K. Toy Story... Okay, they're all in 4K. Okay, good. I'll get those. I will get those. Oh! Oh, there's a collection in 4K. Oh, but it doesn't have a digital code. Sorry, not gonna... I want my movies to have digital codes as well. Like, sorry. So I'll just get them individually. But yeah, they're all on 4K. In 4K. In 4K on Blu-ray. English grammar is stupid. Anyway. Okay, but yeah. I do... Whoa! Oh my god, there's a huge sale on Toy Story 4! Holy shit! Whoa! It's like, it used to be $40 on Amazon, and now it's only $10. Holy shit, I'm totally gonna get that. Oh my god, they're all. Oh, there's a sale on all of them. Oh my god, I want to buy them all. I need these movies. I love these movies. They're great. They're great. Even Toy Story 4, which is the weakest one, even it was still good. Oh my god, I gotta get all of these. Oh my god. I'm going overboard because there are so many movies I want to get, but it's like I can't spend my money on all of these. It's just I'm gonna be broke. Ah. It's just bizarre how a movie that's like a 5 or 6 at best or worse was so controversial because it had a gay couple that had about 20 seconds of combined screen time. I never understood that. I've never understood that either. Like even like no joke. Like I think I mentioned this at one point in one of my previous rant streams. I don't know, but you remember you remember the PBS Kids show Arthur, right? There was like this one episode that where Mr. Ratburn got married to a man, but it was like only for what 10 seconds, and it caused some controversy. And I'm just like, y'all need to go get over yourselves. It's just like the moment didn't even last all that long. Like even if it's just small screen time, people will lose their shit over LGBT representation. Like it's just like calm down. It was barely even there. Get over yourselves. Get over yourselves. Bridge to Terabithia. Yeah, I remember that movie. It is. Yeah, the ending is extremely depressing. I won't spoil it, of course, but Jesus, like that movie was just very dark. Like it started off pretty lighthearted, and then it just dive bombed. And there was also the backlash from a certain group over the fact that Tim Allen didn't reprise his role and claimed Disney fired him because of his politics. That's bullshit. Not what you're saying, obviously, but the fact that that happened. Like, that's bullshit? Yeah, he still came back for Toy Story 4, so what's the point? Like, what's your point? Like, like this doesn't make any sense. Like, that makes no fucking sense. Like, it makes no fucking sense. Okay. I do want these films, though. Oh my god. Oh my god. How much would they cost altogether? Oh my god. I was gonna get, like, no joke. Here, let me add all these to my cart, and then like we'll see what the total is. There are also Blu-ray 3D versions, but I don't give a fuck about those. I get those only when 4K isn't available. Let's see. Okay. I know I got distracted from the Rantstream, but it's like the Sing and Secret Life of Pets movies are just very average and boring. But anyway, so altogether these movies cost $62. But there are already other movies I want to get. Oh, I can't decide. Damn. Fuck. Oh my god, so many good movies. Because it's like, I want to get all these Disney movies. I want all of these. Damn. Oh well. Oh well, that's okay. Honestly, the controversy of Lightyear was more interesting than the actual movie. That's pretty funny. Like when certain movies are so boring that even the controversy that they stir up is more interesting than the movies themselves. And the same could be said for TV shows or series online. Like, there's a show called High Guardian Spice. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. If you haven't, it's this supposed anime from this no, I'm sorry, this anime service called Crunchyroll, and no joke, the show itself is very bad. It just outright sucks. Like, it does everything wrong, and it's boring as hell to boot. Yet it sparked so much controversy that people find that a lot more interesting than the show itself, which I find really funny. So yeah, it's like that. Lightyear is more interesting than any of the Sing and Secret Life of Pet flicks. Doesn't surprise me. So even the worst movie for that series, for the Toy Story series, is is better than these films by Illumination. But actually, I wouldn't say that Lightyear is part of the Toy Story series. It's a spin-off. But you get what I mean. Lightyear actually got an adult rating from a certain country because of the gay couple. I'm not even joking. It doesn't surprise me. That honestly doesn't surprise me. I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. That's how bad things are. That's how bad things are when it comes to the entertainment industry. Oh my god, my friend's calling me. I'm like, no, not now. I'm in the middle of ranting. Let me go ahead and just go to the conclusion of this rant stream. But yeah, The Secret Life of Pets 2, they should have just been 3 short films instead of just 3 episodes, 3 plots mashed together. Okay, so the conclusion. Okay, so maybe I think 3 out of 10 is probably a bit unfair for the last one. On second thought, never mind. I'll keep it that way. I'm sorry, but these films all just suck. But anyway, in general, the Sing series and the Secret Life of Pets series, these are just low effort films. They're just very low effort. Illumination doesn't try to make them amazing. Illumination just makes them good enough. Not even good enough, just passable. Not even good enough, just passable. Because making something good enough implies that you want to actually like put some effort into it. But with Illumination, they don't do that. These are low effort films. They're serviceable, but they're hardly amazing. They're not even good. I wouldn't even say that they're decent. The highest rating I give for these movies is like a 6 out of 10. For one of them, anyway. It's just like, no. These movies can be entertaining. They can be like, if you want to watch, like if you're just looking for something to watch like once and you just want some cheap entertainment, like these movies can provide that. But really, just watch something like just watch something else, like something from DreamWorks or Disney or Pixar or Sony Pictures or whatever. It's just like you'd be better off with those companies, because these movies just suck. They suck. They just suck. The very beginning of the movie claims that Lightyear is a movie that came out in 1995 in the Toy Story universe that Andy saw as a kid and claimed it was his favorite movie. Oh, so it technically is a part of the Toy Story series? Huh. Well, kind of. Well, anyway. Huh. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, like, yeah, I don't blame you for not caring to rate any of these. Honestly, I'm not even sure if these are the best ratings I could give them. I feel like I could be harsher. Well, harsher with some, but lighter with others. More lenient with others. I feel like maybe this one, I don't know. Sing 1 gets Like, I feel like it should get. No, let me give it a 5.5 out of 10. I don't think a 6 is good enough for it. I don't think it's good enough for a 6, I mean. Sing 2 gets a 2 out of 10. Just a 2. Because it's just very, very lazy. All they cared about was just making people want to. All they just cared about was just having good music. Like, good licensed music, anyway. Like, the plot itself was just shit. They could have just done the plot with different characters and the movie would have been so much better. So Sing 2 gets a 2 out of 10. Secret Life of Pets 1 gets a 5 out of 10. Secret Life of Pets 2 gets a 3 out of 10. So those are my final ratings. So yeah, these movies suck hard. They suck very hard. A lot harder than they should. They're very boring. They're very basic. They are very low effort. And even the mini movies, like if you thought the films themselves were bad, the short films are even worse. Like, because like generally they're just devoid of any sort of entertainment or creativity, or like they're just there. Yet the animators are like, oh, we had so much fun making this short. Oh my god, it was like, oh man. I'm just like, dude, you guys, you make it sound like Illumination, like really, like is like you make it sound like Illumination is a great place to work, where it's like, oh, they care a lot about the creativity of the movies and shit. No, they don't. No, they fucking don't. You guys make it sound like, these short films are great. No, they're not. They're bad. They're serviceable at best and just outright bad at worst. Makes me wonder why people even bother with short films nowadays, because most of the ones I've watched are just flat out terrible, or at most mediocre, with the exception of the DreamWorks with Madagascar. I mean, those were actually not bad. The Madagascar short films are actually not bad. Everything else I've watched, though, no. Oh, the Kung Fu Panda short films aren't bad either. But everything else I've watched, yeah. Oof. Generally, they're just bad. It's like, guys, you don't have to make short films every time a movie comes out. It's okay to just have that movie. Because the short films just end up being much lower in quality. And I'm just like, guys, why do you even bother when you can just focus... When you could just use those resources for something else? Like, why even bother with these shitty short films? But that's just me. But I can't wait to get to Toy Story. Oh man, like, this is... Oh man, I can't wait to revisit those movies. 4 is the only one I've watched... Actually, no. 3 and 4 are the only ones I've watched in theaters. Although... I don't think I've ever watched the first and second one in theaters. 3 and 4, yeah, but 1 and 2, I don't think so. 2 I had on DVD or VHS, I can't remember. It was one of those two. But I don't even remember what I did with the original. Movie. I don't remember. Or was it something I rented? I don't think it was something I rented. I can't fucking remember. But I don't think I ever watched Toy Story 2 in theaters. Just 3 and 4. Not 1 or 2. But, yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. No joke. Illumination is so... They're... I don't know why they do this. Like, they really do like to advertise their movies through other movies, which isn't necessarily bad. I mean, DreamWorks does that too. But here's the thing. DreamWorks doesn't, like, put advertisements of other movies within movies. But Illumination does that. Like, no joke. Towards the end of the first Secret Life of Pets film, there's actually a poster on one of the trucks for the first Sing movie. And I'm just like, really? Illumination? Really? You're gonna go to this kind of product placement? Really? Like, I'm not joking. Like, I even had to rewind just to make sure I caught. I didn't like see something that wasn't there. Like I'm just like Illumination, really? It's just like, guys, you don't do that shit. That shit is just no, just no. Was there another thing like that? I can't remember. Oh yeah, and then and no joke, in the ending scene of the first film, like one of the dogs dresses up as a minion. I'm not fucking joking. One of the dogs actually dresses up as a minion. One of the minions from Despicable Me. And I'm just like, you guys are really pissing me off. Like, why are you doing this? Like, just let your movies be movies. You don't have to advertise other movies within movies. That shit's just really annoying. I'm sorry, I just can't stand that shit. It's like it's like Illumination just can't let the minions be in their own thing. No, you got to make them appear in other movies. And as I said earlier, some of the short films in Sing and The Secret Life of Pets are minion films, and I'm just like, why? Like, Illumination, why do you do that shit? And as you'll see with these movies, if you watch them, like the minions also appear like at the beginning of every movie. Like they'll say they'll say the logo Illumination or whatever, and it's just like, this is just really annoying. I don't need to see the minions everywhere. Just keep them in the fucking Despicable Me universe where they belong, please. Like, that shit's just really annoying. Oh, you saw 3 and 4 in theaters too? Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not just... Okay, so you did it too. But, yeah, these movies are just... They just exist. I wouldn't say they're as bad as Open Season, though. They're not as bad as Open Season. Well, yeah, I would say that they're not as bad as the Open Season series generally. To me, like, there aren't many things that I would rank below Open Season. I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't, because, like, that series is just bad overall. Just very bad. So, like, here's the thing, though. Open Season is worse. It has some similarities with Sing and The Secret Life of Pets, in that all of these movies are low effort, but at least Illumination tries to have a good presentation for Sing and The Secret Life of Pets. But for the Open Season series, they don't, like, it just doesn't have any sort of presentation. Like, it's just very, very sloppy. At least Illumination tries to make their movies look pretty. With Open Season, Sony just doesn't give a fuck. It's just like, if you thought these movies were bad, Open Season is just worse in that it's not just low effort, but it also has poor presentation. Whereas at least the Sing and The Secret Life of Pets have some sort of presentation. So Illumination is not that lazy. Lazy, but not that lazy. So that's just how bad Open Season is. Yeah, Open Season 1 is like the only serviceable one in my opinion. The others just suck, especially 2. 2 is the worst. 3 is better, but still bad. 4 is also bad, but still better than 2 and on par with 3. But the first one is the best. Like, the first one is, I guess it's okay for like Sony's first movie, whatever, but I mean, it's just not very good when compared to other movies. So, but yeah, like, that's how I feel. So, I mean, Sony did learn, as I said in previous Rantstream, Sony did learn. We got Into the Spider-Verse and Hotel Transylvania, right? So, Sony learned. And Open Season was their first movie series, so I can cut them some slack on that. Although they still could have tried harder. You don't have open season movies on Blu-ray DVD. Oh. Well, if you have Vudu, you can buy them. Like they're like you can buy them like um digitally. Not that I need to because I have them on Blu-ray and DVD. Except for the second one, that I have the second one on Blu-ray only, but the others I have combo packs for. So yeah, um, that's really all I can say about these movies. The Sing and the Secret Life of Pets, they just exist. They're just there. They're just very average and very irrelevant. Nobody talks about these movies, and with good reason, because they're just so damn basic. They're basic bitches. No, I'm sorry, that's an insult to basic bitches. They're just so flat. Like, just lacking any sort of effort. For the most part. Sorry. I'm sorry. I tried to give credit where credit was due, but even so, these movies are just very unimpressive. Actually, I feel a little bad for rating the first movie the way I did. I feel like it gets a 6. I feel like it should get a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6. I feel like Sing 1 is actually the best one of all of these. And The Secret Life of Pets 1 follows closely after. So Sing 1 and The Secret Life of Pets 1, they're serviceable. They're not terrible, but they're not good. They're just serviceable. Whereas the second two the sequels just suck. They suck. They just suck. The originals are okay, at least by Illumination standards, but the second ones just suck. They just suck. Because the first ones seem to have some effort put into them. The second ones, not as much. Like, come on, Illumination. You're gonna have to try a bit harder. I don't care if you don't make a masterpiece. I just care if you make something that's good. Like, just make something that's good. Try a bit harder next time. But that's all I can say about these movies. Let's see, what can I cover tomorrow? I was thinking about... I mean, I have a list here of movies I'm trying to... Let's see. Okay, so tomorrow I want to cover 4 DreamWorks movies. Over the Hedge, Flushed Away, B-Movie, and Home. So I actually want to go and watch all of those. Rant on all of those. I've watched all of them already, except for Home, which I'll watch. Which I will like, which I will watch, after the stream. But yeah, like, I want to cover those DreamWorks movies. And then on, I think, Friday maybe? Let me look at the... I think on Saturday, I'm going to rant about... Let's see. Rise of the Guardians, Monsters vs. Aliens, Megamind, and The Bad Guys. I think I'll do that. Yeah, so on Saturday I'll rant about those 4 movies. But tomorrow I'll rant about let's see. Over the Hedge, Flushed Away, B-Movie, and Home. So I'm gonna touch... So I'm gonna talk about more DreamWorks movies. I've already done Shrek, Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda. Anything else? Oh, and How to Train Your Dragon. So we talked about those series. So now I just got to do Over the Hedge, Flushed Away, B Movie, Home, and then the stream after that, I will do Rise of the Guardians, Monsters vs. Aliens, Megamind and the Bad Guys. And there are a few other DreamWorks series that I could do, like The Croods or whatever. I don't care about that shit. I don't. Oh, you'll be working on Saturday? Oh, if you'll be working on Saturday, I can move it. I'll probably just move it. I don't think Saturday would be great anyway. I could probably just move it. And just like... I could probably just do that. So like next week I could just move that from Saturday to Tuesday. Or even Monday. I could probably do Monday. Oh, you can do Friday? Oh, Friday. Okay, let me see. Friday. Let me see. Let me look at my work schedule really fast. What is Friday? Is it Friday like the 9th? Yeah, it's the 9th. Okay, Friday will work. Well, let me check really fast. I know my friend really wants to talk with me, so let me hurry and finish this so I can go and call him. Because I know he wants to talk to me. Okay, let's see. Oh, actually no, Friday would not be good. Crap. Never mind. Because I work really early on Saturday, like... I work 10 to 6 on Friday, and then on Saturday I work 7 to 3. So it's like, I could do a rant... I guess I could do a rant stream there, but... it could cause problems for me. Well, actually it might be possible. I'll figure it out. I'll let you guys know. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get going. But thank you all so much for watching this rant stream. It was fun. Bye, Maple. And bye, everyone else. But yeah, I'm Chronology. I'll see you guys next time. So until then... Oh, let me put it the end... the end... slide. The end! But yeah, that's the end of the stream, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time... Deuces and goodbye. These movies are real. Yeah, exactly, Maple, exactly. These movies just exist. The Sing and Secret Life of Pets movies, I mean. But anyway,